You wake up before the sun. You clock in early. You stay late because someone called in sick again. You work weekends when the bills pile up, when the mortgage pulls tighter, when your kids need something you can't say no to. 15, maybe 20 years go by. Your back hurts more than it should. Your bank account looks smaller than it should. And the life you thought you were building still feels one step ahead of you. Now place that next to another man. He is not smarter than you. He is not better than you. But he changed jobs at the right moment. He entered an industry the world was pouring money into. He rode a tide you never knew existed. 10 years later, he has choices. He has room to breathe. He has what you thought effort alone would earn you. And you can't help but ask the question you've swallowed for years. If life is supposed to reward hard work, why did I lose? Why did someone who didn't work harder end up further ahead? The answer is not an insult to your effort. It is a correction to the story you were given. You didn't fall behind because you were lazy. You fell behind because you were working hard inside the wrong choice. Most men who watch this are not drifting through life. You did everything you were told to do. You followed the script that was handed to you when you were too young to question it. Get good grades. Pick a safe major. Take the first job that accepts you. Prove yourself by working harder than everyone else. And one day, it will all make sense. One day, the sacrifice will pay off. That was the promise, but here is the truth you live with now. You didn't choose your field. It was chosen for you by family pressure, by school counselors, by fear, by whatever offer happened to appear first. You didn't choose your direction. You were pushed into it by a system that rewards obedience more than clarity. In your 20s, you worked to keep up. In your 30s, you worked to stay afloat. Now, somewhere between 35 and 50, you wake up and realize you are stuck, not because you failed, but because the demands grew, the bills grew, the responsibilities grew, and the script never changed. You are not lazy. You are not incompetent. You are not entitled. You are a man who kept his end of the deal. But the world around you changed faster than the story you were given. So the questions echo louder than ever. Why does someone less disciplined move ahead while you stay in place? Why do men who cut corners or jump fields at the right time seem to get everything you worked for? What exactly did you miss? And Aristotle would tell you without judgment and without pity that you missed the one variable no one ever taught you to examine, not effort, choice. If this is your first time here, ThinkMate is where we question what others accept. That's the kind of mind we build this channel for. Subscribe if you want more. Now, back to it. You were raised on a simple equation. Work hard and life will open its hand to you. Work harder and it will open even wider. Good things happen to good workers. You will be rewarded someday. Just keep grinding. That was the math. But the math never matched the world you grew up in. Look around. The people who are physically exhausted, mentally drained, and constantly overwhelmed are not the ones who rise. They are the drivers, the warehouse workers, the nurses, the cashiers, the men doing 2 jobs just to stay ahead of the bills. They give the most energy, they give the most hours, yet they receive the least in return. Now look at the other side. Men who manage capital, men who build products, men who understand leverage, code, media, intellectual property. They sweat less, but their decisions move more. Their choices are multiplied by systems that were built to scale their output. This is where Aristotle steps in with a truth your childhood never included. The world does not reward effort by default. It rewards the type of value you create and the position you occupy when you create it. If the equation were real, every man hauling boxes, lifting steel, and running night shifts would be a millionaire by 40. You know that is not how this world works. So the equation collapses, not because effort is useless, but because effort is not the determining variable. If you are in the wrong structure, the wrong field, the wrong moment, working harder only deepens the trap. The problem was never your work ethic. The problem was the story that told you effort alone decides your future. When the old equation breaks, most men blame themselves. They assume they miscalculated. They assume they should have worked longer hours, taken fewer breaks, sacrificed more years. Aristotle would shake his head. He would tell you the mistake was never in your effort. The mistake was in the framework you used to judge your life. 2,300 years ago, he asked a question that still cuts through every illusion of modern society. What separates a human life from the life of an animal? What makes a man more than a machine that wakes up, works, sleeps, and repeats? His answer was simple and brutal. A knife is defined by its ability to cut. An eye is defined by its ability to see. A human being is defined by the ability to choose with reason. Not by how much he lifts, not by how long he works, not by how much he endures, but by how consciously he selects the direction of his life. This is the concept Aristotle called ergon, the function of a thing. And if your ergon, your true human function, is to choose with clarity, then a life built only on effort is a life lived beneath your design. You do not become more human by working harder. You become more human by choosing better. So the question shifts. It is no longer, how much should I push? The real question is, what kind of life am I actually choosing every day, and why? Because according to Aristotle, your destiny is not written by your exertion, but by the choices you make before you exert anything at all. If Aristotle is right that your life is shaped by the choices you make before the work begins, then the first and most decisive choice is the field you step into. Most men never treat this as a choice. They stumble into an industry because someone offered them a job, because their family said it was stable, or because it felt safer than the uncertainty of looking deeper. But the field you choose is not a neutral backdrop. It is the tide that either carries your effort forward or drags it under no matter how hard you swim. Consider two men. Both are 25, both disciplined, both intelligent enough to learn anything with time. One enters technology or real estate or finance during years when capital is flooding in. He is carried by a rising tide. Even his average decisions compound. The world around him magnifies his effort. The other enters retail, print media, or manual labor just as automation, outsourcing, and declining margins begin to crush those sectors. He shows up early, stays late, and works with pride, but the tide is going the other way. Every year he must work harder just to end up in the same place. Aristotle had a name for this: external goods, the conditions you do not control but must account for if you want to live well. He knew a virtuous man can still suffer if he plants himself in soil that can no longer grow anything. So he warned us. A life of excellence does not come from effort alone. It requires choosing a field whose structure allows your actions to matter. This is why two men with identical discipline can live two entirely different lives. Not because one deserves more than the other, but because one positioned himself where the world was ready to reward his effort, while the other unknowingly stepped into a shrinking room. Before you judge your work ethic, ask the question almost no man asks. Is the field I am in capable of giving a return that matches the energy I keep pouring into it? Because if you stand on the wrong side of the river, even perfect technique will exhaust you. Even inside the right field, the story is not finished. Two men can enter the same industry in the same year with the same ambition and still end up worlds apart. Why? Because they did not choose the same position inside that field. Imagine two agents in real estate. The first spends 20 years chasing small commissions, open houses, paperwork, client calls at midnight. He works non-stop, but the ceiling never moves. His income rises, then stalls, then falls behind inflation. The second begins the same way, but pays attention to where the leverage actually sits. He learns finance, he studies zoning laws, He understands how capital moves. And slowly he shifts from selling properties to developing them, from chasing clients to raising money for projects, from running errands to making decisions. Same industry, same starting point, but not the same game. Or take technology. One man stays in support, chained to tickets that reset every morning. Another moves toward product, architecture, systems design, roles where decisions shape the direction of the entire company. Aristotle knew this long before capitalism existed. He called it distributive justice. The world does not distribute rewards based on sweat, but based on the weight of the role you choose to play. If your work influences the whole, you are rewarded by the whole. If your work influences only the next hour, the reward ends with that hour. This is why some men feel invisible no matter how well they perform. They chose a place in the structure where excellence cannot multiply, where effort stays trapped inside tasks that do not scale. So ask yourself, in your field, are you positioned where one decision can move things forward, or where 10 hours simply reset tomorrow? Because in the same industry, some men sell their time and others shape the future of the work itself. Same effort, different position, different life. Even if you enter the right field, even if you find the right position, there is still one more layer that decides your future. The way you choose to operate inside your role. The pattern you repeat every day. Aristotle had a word for this, hexis, the stable character you build through countless small choices. Picture two men starting the same job on the same day, same role, same salary, same manager. The first man tries to survive. He avoids conflict. He waits for instructions. He takes the tasks everyone understands, the work that keeps him busy but never stretches who he is. He becomes reliable, predictable, and eventually replaceable. The second man chooses differently. He takes on the problem no one wants. He asks questions that reveal blind spots. He volunteers for responsibilities connected to long-term decisions, not just the short-term comfort of clearing his to-do list. He builds relationships that reach beyond his department. He becomes visible, not because he is louder, but because his choices shape outcomes that matter. Aristotle would say, these two men are not equals, not in character, not in future, not in the inner structure of their lives. One has built a hexis of avoidance. The other has built a hexis of agency. And that difference compounds. After 5 or 7 years, the first man feels trapped in the same loop. The second is promoted, recruited, or given equity, not because he worked more hours, but because he chose differently within those hours. Same job title, same field, same calendar, but radically different destinies. So ask yourself, are your small choices training you to remain where you are, or preparing you for a larger role that your future will require? Because a man's life is not shaped by the effort he gives, but by the pattern he quietly reinforces every single day. By now, the pattern is clear: different fields, different positions, different ways of playing the same role. 3 layers of choice, each multiplying or suffocating the effort you put in. Aristotle understood this structure long before modern economics, psychology, or career strategy existed. He saw that a man's life is shaped by 4 forces, and only one of them is effort. The first is prohairesis, the ability to choose with intention. Not choosing out of fear, not choosing out of habit, choosing with clarity about what you want your life to become. This applies to the field you enter, the environment you tolerate, and the future you aim at. The second is phronesis, practical wisdom. The courage and foresight to ask different questions. Not what pays me this month, but what direction does this put me in for the next 10 years? Phronesis separates the man who reacts from the man who navigates. The third is hexis, the character you build through consistent choices. Every time you avoid responsibility, you build one version of yourself. Every time you take ownership, you build another. Hexus explains why two men with equal potential drift further apart with each passing year. And the fourth is external goods. Aristotle never denied the influence of money, timing, and opportunity. He simply argued that wise choices place you where those external goods can actually reach you. This is the lens Aristotle offers you. Your life is not determined by how hard you push, but by the quality of the choices that guide your push. Effort matters, but without choice, it has nowhere to go. Let's make this real. Let's step out of theory and walk into the lives of two men you have met 1,000 times. Men who work hard, who never quit, who carry their families on their shoulders. Men who did everything right, except the one thing Aristotle said they must do: choose with clarity. Case 1. A 45-year-old man working in logistics. He started young, took whatever job he could get. He showed up early, stayed late, learned every station on the floor. For 20 years, he never asked for less work or more pay. He thought loyalty would be recognized. He thought endurance would lead somewhere. But his field was shrinking, margins tightening, automation rising. And the harder he pushed, the more the system absorbed his effort without returning anything. His choice of field put him in a place where effort barely moved the needle. Aristotle would see it instantly. Low leverage environment, no path to influence decisions, a hexus built on silent endurance rather than agency. What is the turning point for him? Not quitting, not gambling his savings, but choosing a vector that changes his position, learning contract negotiation, moving into team leadership, becoming the man who runs the machines instead of the man replaced by them. One choice, a different future. Case 2. A 38-year-old corporate manager caught in the middle layer of a large company. He is competent, polite, dependable. He takes on every task handed to him. He rarely pushes back because he was taught that good employees keep the peace. A decade later, he is still in the same chair, smarter than many above him, but overlooked. Why? Because his choices trained him to be safe, not seen, helpful, not strategic, busy, not irreplaceable. Aristotle would call this weak prohairesis, a life directed by momentum rather than intention. A man who never paused to ask the question that determines everything. Where does this road lead in 10 years? His turning point is not luck. It is choosing a role where outcomes, not tasks, define success. Owning a budget, owning a product, owning a result that matters. Both men worked hard, both gave their best years. But only one begins to rise when he finally does the thing he should have done at the start. Choose the game instead of simply playing it. Whenever you talk about choice, the same questions rise to the surface. Questions built from years of disappointment, years of doing everything right and getting little in return. Aristotle faced these questions too, and his answers cut through confusion without blaming the man who struggles. The first question is simple. Are you saying poor men choose badly? No. Aristotle never denied the role of luck, timing, or circumstance. He simply drew a line between what the world controls and what you control. You cannot choose the system you were born into, but you can choose not to stay in the one that is killing your future. The second question, not everyone has choices. True, but everyone has degrees of choice. A mindset you refuse to keep, a skill you can learn, a direction you can pivot toward. Aristotle focused on what he called what is up to us, the part of life that remains yours even when the world is unfair. The third question, so should I stop working hard and just choose differently? No. Effort matters, but only after direction is set. Hard work inside the wrong path multiplies nothing. Hard work inside the right structure shapes your destiny. And the final question, is it too late? Aristotle would say a man's life is measured by the direction he takes, not the age at which he begins. Better to choose wisely at 45 than to drift blindly until the end. You are not being judged. You are being invited to reclaim the only part of your life no system can steal: your choice. Aristotle never offered motivation. He offered orientation, a way to turn your life from drifting to deliberate. And his playbook is far simpler than modern life makes it seem. Step 1. Define your telos. Not the goal your parents wanted, not the title your industry worships. What do you want your life to feel like 10 years from now? More time, more money, more autonomy, more control. If you cannot answer that, every path will look the same and none will take you where you need to go. Step 2. Audit your 3 layers of choice: field, position, pattern. Which of these is failing you the most? Which one, if changed, would shift the direction of your life? Step 3. Select a leverage vector, a skill that moves you from executing to deciding, from selling your hours to shaping outcomes. Sales, data, negotiation, technical literacy. Pick one and anchor your next move around it. Step 4. Rebuild your hexis. Stop choosing what is easy. Start choosing what aligns with the man you are trying to become. Step 5. Let effort follow choice, not the other way around. Do that long enough, and the life that once felt impossible becomes the life you finally step into. Look back at the man in the opening scene. The one who woke up early, stayed late, and trusted that effort alone would carry him. He was not wrong to work hard. He was wrong to believe that hard work was the whole story. The world he entered was not built to reward endurance. It was built to reward direction. And no one ever taught him how to choose it. Aristotle would not shame him. He would simply point to the truth he spent a lifetime studying. You are not a prisoner of fate. You are a prisoner of choices you never realized you were making. And that means freedom is closer than you think. Not in quitting your job, not in burning down your life, but in refusing to sacrifice another decade to a path that never had the power to give you what you hoped for. You cannot return to the man you were 20 years ago, but you can refuse to abandon the man you still have time to become. Effort is how fast you move. Choice is where your life goes. One drains you, the other sets you free. If this made you see the world a little clearer, stay, think deeper. This is ThinkMate.